Thank you. So it is my pleasure to invite the keynote speaker, Winfield Wong, the Regional Head of Business Development, Global Trade and Receivable Finance, HSBC Asia Pacific. He will be joining us virtually for this panel. Mr. Winfield leads the business development for global trade and receivable finance at HSBC across Asia Pacific. He has over 20 years of experience in financial services industry and has led high-performing teams across Singapore and Vietnam, and currently manages a team of business development managers across 9 sites in Asia Pacific. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Winfield. And may I please request you to deliver your keynote speech addressing the second panel discussion for the day, titled Foreign Direct Investment in Logistics Sector, Digitization in Trade. Please put your hands together for Mr. Winfield.
Thank you, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Winfield Wong. I am the Managing Director, Regional Head of Business Development representing HSBC, GTRF, Asia Pacific. And thank you very much for this opportunity to participate in FDI in logistics sector, to provide the opening remarks on the subject of trade value chain. So what is trade value chain? Now, the trade value chain encompasses 4 major areas: procurement, production, sale, and payment. Now, these main streams encompasses at least 12 major groups, including buyer, seller, supplier, shipping logistics, ports, customs, insurance companies, and banks, etc. The involvement of so many parties using their own platforms actually makes the process slow and inefficient, resulting in an end-to-end trade flow to take months. Now, for example, a basic LC opening can take as much as 5 to 10 days to actually execute. The document presentation and the release of goods may take from a couple of days to a month, based on how many of these touch points are involved. So in many countries, paper-based transactions, which still dominate international trade, are a source of cost, delay, inefficiency, fraud, error, and above all, environmental impact. The question is, where are we today? Now, despite more than 2 decades of efforts and data from the Digital Container Shipping Association, we call it DCSA, actually shows that only 0.1% of bills of lading of just one of the many paper-based trade documents we're talking about are issued electronically. A key impediment to the scaling of trade digitalization is the outdated requirement in most jurisdictions. These so-called negotiable instruments or documents of title has to be presented in hard copy paper format. Are changes happening? Yes. The global trade world understands the inefficiencies and are trying to radically change. Digital platforms and technologies are transforming the landscape of global trade, creating an exciting new era of faster, simpler, and more secure data-led trade solutions. Now, in the entire trade value chain, each touch point is innovating at a different pace across different levels, all striving towards a paperless regime. By enabling businesses to use electronic transferable records, we will generate efficiencies and economic savings. However, having an access to all systems at the same time is often very difficult and cumbersome. The need is now to have one connectivity amongst all these platforms so that one can choose and pick as per their requirements by entering into a single window. Now, an example can be TradeNet, which is Singapore's national single window for trade declaration. TradeNet actually integrates import, export, transshipment documentation, processing procedures, and enables the trade and logistics communities to fulfill their trade formalities. So let's come closer to home. What about Bangladesh? What about blockchain? The Bangladesh government is also committed to implement paperless trade and has ratified the WTO trade facilitation agreement. Achieving cross-border paperless trade could help Bangladesh actually save over US 700 million in trade transaction costs annually. Now, this is according to ESCAP study. So to aid in this journey of paperless trade, HSBC in Bangladesh has started piloting blockchain and e-presentation platforms. Number one, blockchain is the most recent technological breakthrough, allowing online transfer of documents in the LC process, which had already helped to slash letters of credit transaction times from 5 to 10 days to just under 24 hours, and providing the end-to-end visibility across all steps on the trade journey, reducing time, cost, and risk. The second point on electronic bills of lading is it's a major move to going paperless if all parties are connected. We have supported regulators, especially in Asia, to understand the benefits and control this can enable. We are now supporting 12 live markets and ready to support clients in a total of 27 markets. As a global bank, we would like to play our part in helping the country in its path to go paperless, utilizing our partnerships and know-how. On this very upbeat note, allow me to express my sincere appreciation to Nordic Chamber of Commerce and Industry in Bangladesh for hosting this event. And now, I'd like to hand over to my friend and colleague Shohit Bhai and his group of very distinguished and expert panelists to go in depth on the subject of digitalization in trade. Thank you very much for listening and have a wonderful afternoon ahead. Back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Winfield Wong, for your keynote address. May I please request the panelists and the moderator for the session.